Something like that. Hello, everybody. Happy Easter. Oh, by the way, sister, I made it. I brought friends. They're full of Orbeez. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dead Dodge Garage Sunday streaming special featuring this light-up dinosaur. It's Easter, and despite my best wishes, did not have a car part scavenger hunt. Maybe next year. Lovejoy is here. Avon is here. My sister is here. Disco Mobile. Tyler C. Dave. Rodney Bird is with us and says, rock on. I really like multiple people. Yeah. I did make an announcement that I was going to be late, but then I wasn't as late as I said I was going to be. So anyway, here we are. Anyway, thanks for being here, guys. Glad you're all just sitting around bored waiting for me. Avon says, happy Easter. I saw a bunny at work today. It ate garbage. Don't know what that means. So we have a chicken farm, just a wee little chicken farm. And those guys eat everything, all the table scraps. That's very much like eating garbage. So make of that what you will. My sister says she's going to fight me. That's fine. 27 of you out there. Hey, do me a favor and hit the like button because it does stuff for the algorithms. Stacy's here with us. Hello, Stacy. How you doing? Oh, hey, how hungover are you this morning? Bob's here with us again. How you doing, Bob? Rodney Bird says, I still haven't replaced that light bulb. Sometimes it just dies because ghosts. Yeah. I have to go up there and smack it and then it works again. So that's fine. Rodney Bird says the 360 sounds good in the Demon. Yes, it does. I'm very pleased with that. I wasn't 100% sure how that was going to turn out. I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if I'm sure some of you saw it. A lot of you people have been around since the beginning, but that's the engine that I built in my shed on the back of the shop in like July when it was like 100 degrees and it was horrible. And the shop was a horrible cluttered mess. So kind of like now, and I couldn't find anywhere else to put it together. So I just built it in the shed. And then it sat out there for like all winter. I rolled it inside, I think 3 weeks ago. And it seems to have survived. I think it's fine. Let's say it's fine. But yeah, it was kind of an experiment. We did a lot to those heads. We welded in block-off plates for the heat crossovers, did a 3-angle valve job, port matched the intake side, just cleanup work. We didn't like enlarge the ports or anything like that, but we put a good bit into it. I also cleaned up all the sharp points in the chambers to try and prevent, detonation and stuff, hot spots. And yeah, I've never done all that before, so I'm very interested to see how well it works. If it doesn't work well, I'll put the Edelbrock heads on it, but it sounds pretty good to me. So I haven't actually driven the car yet. I still don't have a shifter handle. It's I have to change that setup. Oh yeah, turns out the shifter handle has been loose the whole time I've had the car, which explains why it would move back and forth 2 inches in gear. And I totally said something about that on video at some point, so that made a lot of sense. But yeah, anyway, I'll be doing some shakedown drives and we'll see what it does. And obviously there will be video coming on that. And on that point, in just a second, Rooster's here with us. Hello, Rooster. Rooster's got yet another small block that I would very much like to own, but it's not exactly in the budget right now. Oh, which reminds me, I have an announcement. I'll get to that. And Patrick Struble, I'm assuming, says, here. Patrick, I will mark in the attendance log that you're here. So thanks for that. But anyway, Dave asks, when do you think you can make a race day? I think I'm going to go to the Test and Tune in Bremerton Raceway, April 21st. I don't know 100% that that's going to happen. Kind of going to find out this week. I'm going to do some street driving, try and break the clutch in as much as I can, check the timing, tune the carburetor a little bit. And I still haven't changed the gears. I would very much like to do that. But I do want to get out on the street and kind of A/B compare the 340 to the 360 and just kind of get an idea of where I'm at. And so I figure leaving the 410s in for now to do that makes good sense. But anyway, yeah, I still want to put the 488s in because I know for the 8th mile, I'm going to need that. So yeah, hopefully Friday, April 21st, which means I'll probably have a video out Sunday, April 23rd. But we'll see. You know, I'm not promising that, but I think it's going to happen. And I've got several friends that also want to go to the track, so I'm going to see if I can help them get ready for that. Haven says, got my hat. They didn't fix the mailbox. They just drilled out the lock and left it that way. Well, that's a problem. Danberg is here with us. 33.5 between the tracks. Okay. All right. Got it. And says, hey, Jamie and everyone else here. Hello, Dan. How you doing there? Noah's here as well and says, hello. Hey, Noah. Rooster says, bored. I'm finally getting the truck summer wheels on. Yeah, you've got a lot to do there. Something about like a field to mow and a pond to expand and all that kind of stuff. My sister says she's actually fine this time. She grabbed the hair of the dog last night and came to my show. Banana is here again and says, howdy. I love the video on the demon swap. I learned about some parts in the clutch I didn't even know about. Very educational. Cool. I should have actually done a video like installing it and setting it up, but we were in such a hurry to just get the car together. I knew if Byron was there long enough to help me get the engine in, I could still get it running like this weekend. So I did video. There's a lot I left out. Also, a good bit made it to the cutting room floor because I went in depth on the valve gear and stuff, and I was editing it this morning, listening to it, and just like, what am I on about? This is just too much. So I cut it down to about 22 minutes from half an hour. But yeah, there are some things I wish I detailed some more. But again, like the point was, let's get the car together. So we did that. And there's about a 92.5% chance that the clutch I put together in there is not going to live. So we'll see. You know, and if it doesn't, that's fine. It wasn't really in the budget this last week to hit order on the $400 McLeod setup. That's good too, 500 horsepower. It's just a single disc street clutch, but it'll do what I need. I almost ordered it. Glad I didn't because some unexpected bills happened. Car life. Oh yeah, and on that note, an announcement. I actually sold the Gold Barracuda as I bought it. Bills happened. And so I kind of looked at everything out there and went, well, something's got to go. So I just listed it and it sold in 10 hours for asking price. So there goes that one. It's all good. I'm more excited to build the garbage can anyway. People kept telling me to put the good parts on that other car. The problem is the good parts are fender well headers, and I don't want to cut up another one. I don't want to cut up a good car. So I'm going to fix the garbage can instead. It's been in the family so long, you know, it's the right thing to do. But anyway, so I sold the gold car. I got good money for it. I just threw a price on it and it sold for that price. So is what it is. So now I'm trying to decide Duster or Volare. Do I build? Did anyone catch the teaser for the Performance Slant 6 stuff, either on my Instagram or in today's video? Do I do that on the Duster, which I like more, but has power steering and a failing transmission? Both of those are a problem. Or do I do it to the Volare, which is uglier, but already has manual steering and manual transmission? Whichever one doesn't get that probably gets sold. Lovejoy said, any suggestions for keeping foxes away from chickens? I've been having issues. Lost a couple birds this week. Never had trouble before the farm dog died. We don't really have fox problems here. We just have a fenced area that they're in, and then they have a coop. They go in the coop at night. And as long as we lock up the coop at night, we've had no problems. When we allegedly forget to lock up the coop at night, which hasn't happened in a while, we kind of got our poop in a group on that. We've lost a good few, and sometimes if we let them out too early in the morning, but we think it's raccoons, so, or larger birds of prey have been a problem a time or two. So yeah, I don't know anything about foxes. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So ours, it's funny, our chicken run is like, it was actually built to be a dog run, but for some reason, it has a concrete footing all the way around underneath the fencing. So it's almost like they were planning for chickens, which is pretty cool. It's really, it's tough. So I don't have to worry about that. Rodney says shed and tailgate motors run the best. Yeah, I haven't done a tailgate one yet. I'd like to do that. I've heard a park bench engine can also be quite good. Rooster says, did you get through all the progress videos I sent you? No, I did not. I drove out. We were hanging out at mother-in-law's place there. I saw him come in, but I didn't want to be the annoying guy with, sounds coming out of his phone. So I haven't watched him yet. And Ross said Electronet for chicken security, which again, I can't really comment on. Oh, I'm going to disappoint someone in just a minute here. In fact, I think I already did. That's funny. G-Pop Balula's with us again and says hello from Millsap, Texas. Hello, how you doing there in Millsap, Texas? I don't actually know where Millsap, Texas is. So now I'm going to find out. Millsap. Oh, okay. West of Dallas. I've been to Austin 2 times or 3 times. Can't remember, for South by Southwest. It was worth a shot. Anyway. Iron Mike is who I'm going to disappoint because, as I just mentioned, I did actually sell my 64 Barracuda that I just got. I had ideas, but yeah, when all the bills are due and you've been buying parts for other projects, there comes a time where you have to make a decision. So that was the decision I made. Yay, it's back. That's probably going to keep happening. So yeah. I was pretty excited about it, but man, okay, there are 7 A-bodies here right now. Before that one goes, I'm going to have to do a video because we currently have, I think I mentioned this last week. We currently have 64 Barracuda, 65 Barracuda, 66 Barracuda, and my 67 Fastback. And that's pretty fun. So I want to put them all in a line. It'd be pretty cool. And then we also have a 67 Valiant, the Duster, and my Demon for a total of 7. That's too many. Anyway, I'll probably do a video on a whole pile of A-bodies pretty soon here. Scooter's here with us. Hello, Scooter. Scooter's organizing VHS tapes. Good. Joshua Ricks wants to know, are the 5.9 liter motors pretty reliable? Yes, they are. A few minor problems, and I've done videos on all of them. So I have a playlist. You might have seen some of this stuff on Magnum engines. And I detail all the problems they have. The intake plenum gasket, that's a big one. That happens a lot. Sooner or later, they'll all have that problem. Timing cover gasket, same exact thing. And that becomes more of a problem when you replace a failing water pump and you don't do the timing cover gasket. Yeah, you do the pump and then the timing cover starts leaking and it sucks. So anyway, there's that. And oil leaks, especially on the earlier ones. The later ones, I think they improve the gaskets a little bit. Not the plenum gasket or the timing cover gasket, but like the valve cover gaskets, oil pan gasket. So anyway, But other than that, they're quite good. Now they do have cracking cylinder head problems, but it's always between the valve seats, and it never seems to do anything until it does. My brother had one that had cracked there, and it actually opened up, ran like 3 inches over to a water jacket, and then it pulled coolant into that chamber cylinder and started steaming, which was neat. Other than that one instance, I've never seen one of the cracks grow. So it's a really good bet your Magnum will have cracked heads, but it's usually not an issue. Yeah, it's a super great platform. They're well engineered. Again, other than the little issues there. Usually, Magnums don't just die like the Chevy engines always do because of distributor failures. You'll have the gasket problems, and the transmissions behind them are usually the biggest thing you got to worry about. But the engines themselves are great. I swear by those things for engine swaps. Absolutely love them. Oh, Lovejoy, the good thing about that is if the small children get zapped, they will learn. It's just like falling down the stairs. At my old house, it was a split level house, and there were stairs going down and to the front door. And my daughter fell down those once or maybe twice, and then she learned. Just saying. Steve 1961P is with us and says, "Hey, buddy, how are you tonight?" I'm good. We went out to my mother-in-law's, hung out with family there for Easter. I've had a busy weekend. I was here Friday. I had work that I should have been doing, but I really wanted to do the demon, and I figured, hey, it's now or never. Let's just get it done. So I did. Called in the cavalry. Byron came and helped. He's currently unemployed. He works construction, and is very much not construction season currently. So so that was my all-day Friday. 13 hours I was in the shop working on the demon on Friday. And then yesterday, I kind of took it easy. We cleaned around the house here. And then I think noon to 4, Byron came back over, and we got it running, which is cool. And then I immediately left getting it running and went and played a show. And by the end of the show, I was like, dude, I need to lay down. I was very sore. But today, a little more laid back. Yeah, Ross has it. Educate them. Getting zapped by the electric fence is a rite of passage for rural kids. I'm not even a rural kid, and I'm thinking you're right. Semi-rural, I guess, but not that rural. Steve also says, do you know of any aluminum big block heads that have the same chamber as the 906/452? That would be the open chamber. I don't. And that's not to say they don't exist, but I don't know of them. The closed chamber is better. Are you trying to run a domed piston for super high compression? That would make sense. But I think they probably exist. I just don't know. The closed chamber and the flat top is kind of the way these days. You get your quench area, decent compression, and streetable compression usually, and it's a good setup. So they might be out there, but I don't know. Jorge Hernandez is with us. Hello, Jorge. How you doing? G-Bot Beluba says, I bought a brand new 2002 Dodge Dakota RT way back when, and it was really fun, but would only go to 80 miles an hour and shut off. One thing about that little truck is the best MPG was 11. That's awful. Wow. Should not be that bad. The Dakota RT, of course, is the 5.9 Magnum, and I think it's the spiciest tuned 5.9 Magnum there ever was. But it's nothing special. It's just a regular 5.9 Magnum with maybe a bigger injector and a different tune. That's all it is. But they're cool. I think I mentioned this before. My little brother had a 4.7 Dakota. It was an 03, and it was fun. It was rowdy. The 4.7 makes horsepower until it blows up. Dave says Lovejoy just needs a new dog. Agreed. My sister says, yeah, it's mostly raccoons around here. Mr. PF Flyer says, Chicken Run. That was a cartoon movie, wasn't it? Yeah, I think you're right. Lovejoy says, I don't think that lesson needs to be learned at 3 years old. Unfortunately, Lovejoy, I do have to disagree. I think my daughter fell down the stairs at one-ish. Yeah, probably one-ish. Just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, a little zap. What's a little zap? Anyway. Dan says, the Volare? What, do you want to own it? Or are you sad that it might go away? Jason with Stage Zero Garage is here with us and says, today was garage spring cleaning. I have to start project season with an organized garage. Yeah, I usually do something I like to call emptying the toolbox. Or no, it's not that. That's not what I like to call it. I don't even know what I like to call things. I throw the toolbox at every project. And then at the end of the big project, I have to go around and pick all that up. During the project, garbage, everything, tools, everywhere. At the end of the project, it all gets picked up. And then we can move on to the next project. But the shop really hasn't been anywhere near as organized as it should be. Pretty much since the beginning. Avon says, when I was a kid, we would dare each other to touch the electric fence and then be offended when it hurt. Nice. Good stuff. Derek Marshall, want to put a 4.6 RH on the 440 for the 73 Charger. Any suggestions on this conversion? I know it's been done. I remember reading an article about it a while back. There's stuff you have to do. There's either an adapter or they cut off the bell housing and use a different bell housing. Now I've given this same advice before and I'm going to give it again, and it annoys some people, but in that Coronet convertible, I've done 3 videos on it, I think 3 or 4. The Ultimate Cruiser, I think is what I call it. The Ultimate Cruiser, 1967 Coronet 500 convertible. It's got a fuel injected 383 and a Silver Sports A41. Is that what they call it? I think it's an A41. And all it is a GM 4L60 with a custom conversion bell housing, cross member. They make the driveline for you. They give you a controller for it. The wiring, everything is all there. The flex plate, like every bit you need to put it in that car. It fits better than the 4.6 RH. You don't have to do as much clearancing. And everything's right there. Like it's smaller. It's a super easy swap and you get the same overdrive. The 4.6 RH, like, I don't even think they're very good, and it's hard to find an RH core. I think I still have one. Yeah, I do. I do have one. In fact, I need to get that rebuilt. I think I'm going to put it in my van. But anyway, yeah, my suggestion is do the Silver Sports transmissions A41, which is actually a GM, but it fits way better. Otherwise, I don't know. Somebody out there's got the parts. Somebody's got a guide. I saw it in Opar Action, or was it Hot Rod Magazine? Can't remember. But I haven't done that. I've done it with a small block, but not with a big block. Rooster says, just sent you a video to share for a laugh. Okay, let's see what we got here. Come on now.
So here's the plan. This motor, 440, and this. Then I'll let to Washington and race Jamie and win a duster.
Well, it's a nice thought. Luke Tichnell, I'm assuming, Tichnell, is here with us and says, I currently have 2 AMCs with 5.9 Magnum swaps running the injection system, both running 5-speed manuals. Love them. Awesome. Fantastic. I love the 5.9 Magnum. It's my favorite retrofit swap. It's cheap. It's easy. and they do cool stuff. They get kind of okay fuel mileage in cars. Yeah, I'm 100% in support of that. It's one of the things I have tried to encourage since the beginning of this channel. And I'm now over a year into, I was supposed to do a swap for video and do a wiring guide. And there are people that have been waiting all that time. So I need to do that. But unfortunately, I don't know what I'm going to do it on. I may just do a wiring guide with my fan because I need to rewire that. I had 2 swaps here for a while. I sold one of them to my friend Dave, who's in the comments here. That was my 66 Charger, 5.9 Magnum, and 4-speed. And that was awesome. I actually really liked it with the automatic overdrive until it blew up, and then it blew up again. And then the other one is here in our 91 Winnebago camper van, and it also has a 4-speed behind it. That one's an overdrive, and it's great. Awesome cruiser, gets 17 plus miles a gallon, loaded with all our camping stuff, flying across Idaho or wherever. I need to do some work on the wiring, and I started an ambitious interior refit right before the COVID thing happened. So that's been a while. I should probably finish that. But yeah, the 5.9 Magnum is great. I really, really like it. The horsepower rating sounds anemic and does not tell the whole story on that factory injected engine. It works really, really well. Okay, yeah, Steve says, yes, bottom end is all done. I've got 452s on it, but I'd like to bring the heat down with aluminum heads. Yeah, and they're super good for that. Really great for controlling pre-ignition and that sort of thing. At least that's been my experience. My original aluminum headed engine was the 360 that was in the garbage can Cuda many moons ago. And I never heard it ping. Never. And I tried. Anyway, yeah, the aluminum heads do good stuff. I don't know. Let's do this. See if I can try it. Probably not. Open chamber aluminum heads. Big block, Mopar. It was something people have clearly searched for before. I'm not seeing. I'm not actually seeing any. So I don't. Oh, well, hold on a second. Here we go. Edelbrock's got one. It's open. It's kind of an odd shape. 88cc chamber. Is that an illusion? No, it is open. Yeah, that looks just like the 452 906, where it's not, flush. There's no quench area. It's like just set in a little bit, and then it opens up into the chamber. So that would probably be comparable. I think it must be. Looks like Edelbrock Performer RPM. The part number is 60189. They ship from supplier, but it says they're in stock. Your mileage may vary. They're $945 a piece. God, Edelbrock heads are expensive. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. They do exist. Edelbrock's good stuff. They're my go-to. Although the 440 source stealth head that looks like a factory head, that's pretty cool. We actually just painted the stroker motor that has those heads at Rocket, and it looks great. Matthew B is here with us again and says, hello, fellow musician. Would you be open to the idea of me emailing a recording or two? You could use them as backing music, maybe. One's called Broke Down Motorcycle Blues. Yeah, you could do that. That's fine. I'll listen to it. I'm not going to promise I'll use it until I hear it, but something called Broke Down Motorcycle Blues kind of sounds like my kind of stuff. So my email is jamienoise@gmail.com if you haven't caught that before. Rich Jordan is here with us and says, just joined Faceplant. You know what I mean. Yeah, you mean the face tubes. That's the face tubes. Only for marketplace access. It feels dirty, but I'm already finding interesting items. And 2 cars I have no room for. So this fun thing happens with the face tubes marketplace because I'm on it. And I am way too often looking at things on there. Cars I don't have room for, mostly. Trucks I don't have room for. Vintage RVs I don't have room for. Boats I don't have room for. Motorcycles I don't have room for, and big blocks. So I'm pretty up on that stuff. I see most of it, but sorry, I just read ahead a little bit. Anyway, the funny thing that happens is people will send me links to FaceTubes, cheap Mopars on FaceTubes, like all the time. Like I will have the same ads sent to me 3 or 4 times. There's a Duster in the Portland, Vancouver area right now. It's a 70, I believe, might be a 71. It's white, looks great on the driver's side, but the passenger side quarter is just obliterated, like smashed. It's amazing. And it comes with a quarter panel and some other parts. It's $2,000. And it's like, mine was much cheaper than that. So anyway, yeah, FaceTubes is a curse. Mostly a curse. Dan's here with us. Hello, Dan. Dan might have been late because I said that I'd be here at 6:30 and then I was actually here at 6:13. I apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused. Dan, I'm very serious about building a 273 one of these days. I do have one, and there's another one in the back room at Rocket. So I got options. I really want to do that. And I have the aluminum heads. I'm taking them off the 340. Maybe I just won't put them back on. I think a built to the hilt 273 with aluminum heads and a gnarly cam and, just screaming RPM ability, super lightweight. Yeah. My brother had just a stock one in his Duster. And I remember we put an aluminum flywheel behind it. It didn't have a steel face and it ended up destroyed somewhere in like New Jersey. That's a totally different story. But that thing would like you breathe on the throttle and it was boom, boom. That's cool. I want to do that and do race car stuff. Banana says, don't get rid of the Volare. I would like to see the turbocharged Slant 6. I am pretty much dedicated to the turbocharged Slant 6 idea. I have 3 different cars I could do it on. The 74 Duster, the Volare, or the Fastback Cuda. And the funny thing is, I initially teased doing it on the Cuda, but then I decided, does the daily driver really need a turbo Slant 6? Well, maybe it does. So either way, we have options. I decided to do it to the Duster. I thought, you know what? The Duster's the cooler looking car. The viewers seem to agree, so I thought that would be an exciting way to go. But I need money, and I'm not planning on selling my Barracuda. So the nice aspect about the Volare is that it literally doesn't matter what happens to it. The problem is I think it needs a cylinder head. Now, Tom just brought one home, but do I want to do all that too? Not really. But then on the other hand, that would be a good time to shave it. Too many cars, too many options. I need to thin the herd and narrow my focus. That's the problem. And it is a problem. But anyway, maybe I'll sell the Duster and do the Volare, but then I just have to make it run right. It is kind of the better project for that. It lends itself better to it. It's already manual transmission. It's already manual steering. There's more room. And again, it literally doesn't matter what happens to it. So, hood stack, whatever, not a problem. I'm going to do the Turbo Slicks on something. I've wanted to do that for years. That's going to happen. I have most of the parts. I have most of a plan. It's not a complete plan, and I don't know if it's a good plan, but it is a plan. This is the correct way of operating. Lovejoy says, I don't buy dogs as the dog distribution system always brings me one eventually. The dog distribution system has been more than kind to us. We seem to have 3 at all times. Actually, we did pay for one once. Charlie, our older, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Well, she's nuts. Anyway, she's nuts. We paid for her, but not very much. Dan Berg says, did I tell you that I took my toy for a road trip? No, you did not. Yep. I put a bit over 100 miles on it and no issues. Money well spent. Well, yeah, of course. Bob says, I had a 98 V6 Dakota SLT with a 5-speed and club cab. It was my first new vehicle and it rocked. Wasn't super fast, but it did go. Yeah, the 3.9's okay. It's not amazing, but cool. I've kind of always had ideas of doing something with a 3.9 because it's a 318 minus 2. But it doesn't just bolt into the old cars. You got to do something custom for the mounts. If you could just bolt it into an A body, I would have done it 10 years ago. But yeah, it's a little more complicated than that. And then as far as V6s go, the Pentastar makes over double the horsepower. Like it makes 100 more horsepower than the Magnum 5.2, and it weighs less. It's also very complicated and has problems, but that's not the point. I really like the Pentastar V6. So now I'm inclined to do one of those. Someone already put one in a 72 Dart and it looked awesome. So that might be a someday thing for me. And then I'll just leave you with the fact that they make supercharger kits for them for Jeeps. JMR is here with us again, and it has been a while. He says, hey, Jamie, haven't been on the lives in a while. Cool video on the Demon engine swap. Also, your thoughts on the new Demon 170? It's cool. I mean, it's neat. I like the idea of a factory race car. That's cool. When they announced the last Demon, I thought that was nifty. But, you know, the Hellcat had 707 horsepower. How much more do we need? Anyway, it's cool. And I liked the somewhat reasonable selling price. Then I read dealers are marking them up to a gazillion dollars, and then I read Chrysler's going to like fine them and crack down on that or whatever. Honestly, I just don't care that much. It's cool. Like I'm not saying it's cool. It's not cool. It is cool. I'm not super excited about it or anything. I live in my own happy little bubble. Blake is with us again. Hello, Blake. Mopar Junkie. What's up, Jamie? Y'all got any more of them A-bodies? Hey, Dave. What up, Easter Duck? My Easter Duck's hanging out with my Easter light-up dinosaur. My daughter gave me all the duplicates of toys that she got in her eggs. Little squishy bunny. Bunny, and then she gave me a little happy carrot so the bunny won't be hungry. No. Mr. PF Flyer says, nice cornet on that video. Yeah, that's cool. Brent Forte wants to know, have you owned a 6-pack car? No, I saw one once. I've ridden in one. No, my brother had a 6-pack set up at one time, which I was reminded recently he briefly had on his Fury, and we thought it didn't work very well, and we didn't quite know as much about carburetors then, and we kind of thought it was a carburation problem. So he switched it back to a single 4. It still ran like dog shit, and then we found out it was the distributor he had on it. Weirdest thing. He switched to the distributor, all was well, but he never went back to the 6-pack setup, and then he sold it. You know, he was getting hungry or something. But that is the closest I've ever come. My brother had one. I would like to play with one eventually. I'd like to see what they're about. But no, I am way too much of a poor person to own an actual 6-pack car. K-Man Weisenbach wants to know, hey, bud, I was wondering if you could tell me, is there any difference between big block, small block, or slant 6 2-barrel carburetors? Yes, they are all different. Big block 2-barrels are actually a totally different footprint, totally different size. So you can't put a big block 2-barrel onto the small block 2-barrel manifold. The slant 6 and small block, I say small block, I'm thinking 318. If I'm remembering correctly, some 360s actually have that bigger 2-barrel size. I think they do in like motorhomes and stuff, but don't quote me on that. There's the bigger 2-barrel that big blocks have. There's the smaller one that slant 6 and 318 has, and 273 and what have you. And I think 360 is the bigger one, but that's not the point. So the small block and the slant 6-1 are the same footprint, the same size, same bolt pattern. But the slant 6 BBD is actually slightly smaller. It's a smaller size. I can't tell you what it is. And that's a CFM rating size, not an actual physical size. So you can bolt a carburetor off of 318 onto a Super 6, and it works. But the factory thought it was a little big, so they use that special size. They are kind of hard to come across, as I understand. Brewster says, thanks for the cornet comment. It's going to be a piece. Yeah, it looks sweet. And I know what you meant, and I didn't correct you because I wanted to just let you be wrong. And I also thought it might have been an intentional dig, oh, nice duster. It's cool. I love that demon. I saw in the A-Bodies group, somebody just dragged one home. It's green. I don't know green color codes. I've told you all that, so I don't know what shade it actually is, but it's cool. It's like a darkish metallic green, and it's got the black stripe down the side. Really nice looking car. And it's also an original 344 speed. And they're neat cars. They're special. So I posted a picture of mine and said, dude, that's awesome. This is mine. Also original 344 speed, stripe delete, B5 blue. And he said, beautiful car. And then another guy responded and said, hey, I think I just saw that car in a video on YouTube. Good stuff. I just can't go anywhere anymore. Let's see where we're at on that. I'm curious. Hey, that ain't bad. We've got 1,200 views on the demon video, and I posted it really late in the day. So yeah, it's my third best video out of the last 10. Pretty cool. People love the demon. Too bad. M1 dropped a comment. Thank you, M1. Update told me to have fun. I'm having fun. There's a lot going on. I just love dumb shit like this. Some guy dropped by and commented on one of my wheeling videos, which no one watches. Did you guys know that I put up 2 off-road videos like a year ago? Anyway, he says, too bad you damaged that red Dodge. The bed was smashed when I got it. I just smashed it worse. Because I like to commit. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, that blown Hemi is going to be, or excuse me, blown 440 in that one. The Hemi's the whole other thing. Blown big block is going to be a unit. You feel free to bring it out here. I'll line up, but I'm not betting. Plus, the bank's still got the pink slip, so I can't help you there. Huh. That's cool. Blake had a little car made from a 6-pack. Wind chime thingy. 6-pack. Nice. Big Wrench Tech wants to know, how do you feel about running an HEI conversion distributor in a 360? Great. Cool. I've never actually run one of the big cap drop-in GM appearing GM cap. Okay, good. Someone else got that. Brent got it faster than I did. I've never used one of the drop-in ones with the actual GM, the big coil and all that. But I've heard they're good. They should be good. Is it a DUI brand? That's a good one. They've been making those for a long time. I like to use HEI modules, but I always trigger them with the factory Chrysler distributor. I just prefer the look of the factory distributor, and I like the factory plug wires and the factory. Yeah, that's just how I go. But they're easier to get a hold of. It's cheap. You grab a Mopar distributor, which I have a pile of, and then you grab a $30 or less HEI module, and you've got an ignition. So, well, you need a performance coil too. But yeah, you get comparable performance, and it's much cheaper. But having said that, yeah, if you don't care what it looks like, it's a good way to go. Tyler wants to know, you mentioned that you have had a lot of dusters, but have you ever owned an 80 to 81 duster? No, I have not. It's funny. No. Actually, I've had, let me think about this. My first Mopar A-body that I drove was a 74 Duster. I had a 73 Duster, which is the one my brother got, had for years, put a bunch of miles on it, had that 273 in it for a long time, which was cool. His Instagram handle, I believe, is still 273 Duster for that reason. And then had the one from the ranch. I technically kind of own that, I guess. That was a 70. And then the 74 I have now. I think that's it. I think just those 4. Jorge Hernandez wants to know, to rebuild the oil-burning 318, if the block was good, plus or minus, what would it cost for stock rebuild? Would you say the way Uncle Tony says to tune the carb using inches of vacuum is the best way? Yeah, listen to him. He knows his shit on tuning carburetors. He is the man on that stuff. I've learned a lot from him. So you should too. Oil burning 318, if the block was good. Well, a 318 of that vintage, you're probably going to have pretty bad cylinder wear, so you're probably going to have to overbore it. 20 thou at a minimum, 30 thou common size. You can probably find pistons easily, replace the pistons. Now you want to balance the rotating assembly. So machining operations, pistons, obviously regular rebuild parts, gasket set, bearings, rings, timing set, oil pump. It really varies. Cam, stock rebuild, but you still are going to replace the cam if you're going to do an actual rebuild. I mean, you can do it on a budget. You could hone it until it's good enough, throw rings in it, fresh bearings if it needs them, seals and gaskets, and get out of there for $500-$600. But if you want it nice, you'll overbore it. New pistons, balance job, and with machining operations and all of that, you're going to be more like $200 to $2,500 probably. That's probably a safe number. Oh, Blake says there is a difference between pack and barrel. Yeah, Plymouth and Dodge. Dodge and Plymouth, excuse me. Respectively. Big Wrench Tech is here with us. Oh, yeah, you commented a minute ago. Big Wrench Tech. That's a good one. That's a good username. 70 Coronet, 79 Shovelhead, and a Gibson Les Paul. Life is good. Awesome. Can I reach it? No. I can reach this. I got a Les Paul myself. But a burst. But mine says Epiphone under that sticker I put on there a long time ago. I have snapped the headstock off twice. I just noticed, I didn't remember this damage. Just found this yesterday. I love the Les Paul. I stopped playing this because it hurts. Rock and roll, throwing that thing around. Dude, no. So I got a Gibson SG, which I love. Lightweight, but the Les Paul's got that thick tone. So I prefer the sound of that a little bit better, but I've gotten really used to the SG and what it does. But yeah, life is good. I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, I actually talked about this in my very first live stream ever. My life's awesome. I have my dream job. I get to do this stuff. I have like the house of, I didn't even ever dream of a house this cool. I have my dream family, literally. I have my dream car. I have my dream shop. I play rock and roll on the weekends sometimes. What more could I want? Life is good. I guess I should announce, I, of course, am playing the Dead Dodge Garage drinking game. I think most of you know what this is by now. The flavor of the week is Two Towns Bright Cider, but I'm almost out. If you don't know the Dead Dodge Garage drinking game, it's you drink every time I misspeak. There are some other rules. I'll fill you in on those as they come. And I do see there are 44 people with us now. That's awesome. If you haven't said anything, please do. Let me know what you're working on this weekend. You can let me know what you did for Easter if you want, or if you do that. And you can let us know what you're drinking. I do not recommend playing the Dead Dodge Garage drinking game with actual liquor because it goes bad and it makes for a bad Monday. I'm doing pretty well so far tonight, but now that I've said that, I won't do well anymore. Jorge Hernandez wants to know, on the 55 Dodge truck, is there a Mopar overdrive I could add? Maybe. 55, it is a 3-speed, right? Or 4-speed on the floor. There aren't any like easy factory type options. Your poly engine is the same bell housing pattern as the later small block, but there are crank differences, so it kind of takes some science to mate those two. And I've never done that. I know it can be done, but it's not easy. So short answer, yes. Long answer, maybe re-gear the rear axle. Because yeah, I'm not sure what would be a good way for you to go there. Zach Hicks is here with us. Zach Hicks, hello. Zach runs a local bar and plays in like every single local band, I think. It's almost like every 2 weeks he announces that he's in a new band. And he throws shows and festivals and does all kinds of cool stuff. I've had the pleasure of recording Zach at least, I think, 2 or 3 times over the years, actually. So anyway, thanks for being here. Big Wrench Tech says, yes, HEI in a 360. Hi from Lakeland, Florida, near Freedom Factory. Awesome. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, Aberdeen, Washington, almost in the Pacific Ocean, not quite, but close. And at almost, the top of the country. So I'm pretty much as far from you as I could be without being in Alaska and still being in America. But anyway, very cool. Matthew B says, in my personal car news, I just inherited a 1948 Willys CJ2A. And I should say Willis because it's definitely pronounced Willis. Aside from missing a passenger seat and the oil bath air cleaner, it's complete. Needs work, but I think they all do. Man, I want a flat fender again. I had 2, but I never had one that was complete. And then I've had 2 CJ5s and 1 CJ7 and never one that was complete. They're always missing seats. They're always missing engines. Yeah. The good flat fender I had was a 64. I think it was 64. Whatever the last year of the DJ3A, that's a 2-wheel drive, right-hand drive, male Jeep. Whatever the last year that was. It was either, I think it was 64. And it was a super nice, almost rust-free body. I had a frame, I had a nose and a windshield and a title, I think. Maybe it didn't have a title. And that was it. Oh, I had a factory rear axle. And so I was going to try and put YJ springs on it, different axles. I was going to try and put a V8 in it, or no, I think I was trying to find a 4-cylinder fuel injected newer 2.5 for it. But that was one of those projects I couldn't finish. Needed too much. But I love flat fenders and I'd really like to have one. And Tom has 2. And we use one as the yard pig. And the other one has a newer engine that's seized. And some video someday we'll be trying to unseize that. But anyway, very cool. Sounds like an awesome project. If you get bored of it, let me know. Bob says, oh man, but the Turbo Volare sounds so sexy. Yeah, it really does. And again, like I am pretty committed to turbo slant 6 stuff. I just don't know what car. I don't know if it's worth keeping that Volare to do that to it. But it would be fun. It would be really, really fun. All right. I haven't made a decision. That's interesting. The reason I was thinking the Duster would be the go-to is because Well, I don't know. It got like 17 times the views of the Valari video. Okay, not 17, maybe 10. So I figured the people would like it more, but everyone's here seems to be pro Valari. So that's interesting. I'll keep that in mind. Again, I really haven't made a decision. It's just I don't think I can keep both. So where is the Valari? I thought I got more views than this. Huh. That's weird. I must have scrolled by. Where is it? Ah, oh, whatever. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that one got 6,000 views. People liked it. The Duster got triple that. Just saying. People seem to like the Duster. Blake with Bad Tree says, have HEI on our 73 Motley Crew Cab Dart for the past 2 years. Super cheap. Every part store has it on the shelf, so it's convenient. And that is why the HEI module is my go-to ignition solution. It's my go-to. It's just the best. You know, I just skip the Chrysler module. I get the factory Chrysler distributor, wire it to an HEI module, good coil, eliminate the ballast resistor. Ta-da! Good to go. And yeah, you can get them everywhere. Anywhere. Podunk, middle of nowhere, USA. Dan says, thoughts about iron Magnum heads on a 273? I haven't thought about it, but it's an interesting thought. You know, it's a closed chamber. You got to do oil through lifters, which they exist. I know they exist in a hydraulic lifter, flat tappet, because AMC, I learned this recently, AMC used the same diameter lifter. So it's like all the same specs, but they used oil through push rods. So a lot of the replacement Mopar lifters you get now are set up for oil through, and that's why, because it's the same part as AMC other than that detail. So that's a pretty easy problem to solve. Still got to figure out push rod length, but again, pretty easy problem to solve. That would be interesting. Yeah, the Magnum head's a good head. You know, that would be a great factory solution. I have a set of 302 heads. They're bare castings and they're pretty gnarly looking, so they would need some love to use. But I've considered going that way too. I just like the idea of the Edelbrock because, you know, aluminum and it's better in every way. And I have a set. It just seems like something no one would do. Who would put $2,000 of cylinder heads on a 273? Even my brother thinks I'm a wacko. I said I was thinking about putting the 273 in the Demon, and he said, don't do that. Do the 360. So he did, but it's still a cool thought. But yeah, Magnum head would be a good way to go too. And I have a set. Tyler says, I saw a Facebook reel with 2 Dusters, early Dodge diesel engines, not Cummins. Do you want me to send you the video? Yes, please do. Blake saw it. That's interesting. Ross says 243 Mitsubishi diesel in a Duster. Big block bell housing pattern. Are you sure? Is that... Yeah, that's... what is their designation for that? It's the same one they used in international, in Scouts. I didn't think it used a Chrysler bell pattern. That's interesting, but you could get a 4-speed behind it or a torque fly, load fly, actually, because it's in a truck. Huh. I've read this article I'm looking at right now. I know these existed. And they say buy Chrysler on them, don't they? But all Chrysler did was import them. But I didn't know about the bell housing. I figured it was something special. So that's very interesting. No. I don't know if this is the same engine or not, but they're talking about making an adapter for it. I feel like they probably would have used an adapter, and that's pretty standard on diesel engines. I mean, to get the Cummins in the Dodge truck, it uses a block adapter. I wonder if that's what it is. They stuck an adapter on the back that was big block Chrysler. Because it's a Japanese Mitsubishi engine. There's no reason it would have the Chrysler bell pattern. Dan says, Rooster, I think you bumped your head. Yeah, you may have done that some time ago. Okay, man, Weisenbach said, yes, 273 with factory closed chamber heads and a solid cam. And what? I'm way behind on the comments now. I'll try to catch up. That's another drinking point there. But I realize how buried I am in comments. If you don't know, other than crosstalk between people in the comments, I do try to get to every single comment or question. But sometimes there are a lot. Ross says 243 Mitsubishi diesel and a Duster, big block bell housing pattern. Yeah, they must use some kind of adapter. They must have. Rooster says, you know me way too well. The only way I'm getting the Demon is I have to win one or win the lottery. Yeah, I got lucky with mine, but I still have to pay the bank every month. Oh. My sister sent us a video earlier of a guy. He was knocking down a barn, and he dragged out this like 80s car. And she said she was just watching it over and over and watching him because, excavator, machine operator. If you know any, they're talented guys. I mean, they could reach out and grab the hat off your head, with that machine. And anyway, he's just, flattening it down, yanking the tires, yanked the radiator out, set it off to the side, flipped it over, dropped it a couple times to smash it flat, picked the cat up, set it off the side. Just cool. Very cool. Bob says another life complete with user comment voice. All is well. I don't remember what comment I did that about, but yeah. That's just part of the experience at this point. Brent Forte says, I rode in a 70 TA Challenger, 346 back. It was white. The only numbers matching white one that existed. It was in a magazine in the 90s. Mopar man Larry Mahler. Never heard of him. I wonder if I can find it. So I've never seen a white one. Because they make a modern one, this is going to be really annoying and hard. The only black TA with white vinyl top and interior. I don't readily find pictures of a white one, but that's cool. Oh, there it is. I mean, who knows if it's original or not, but that's what they look like in white. TA Challenger is cool. TA or an AAR, that's a bucket list car for a lot of people. I'm not really an E-body guy. I am an A-body guy. I love 68 Chargers and some other things, but I am an A-body guy. And that's what blows my skirt up, or whatever it is people say. Rooster says, I've bumped my coconut too many times. That's why they call me the mad scientist. Steve took off a little bit ago. Good run, buddy. My brain's pounding. See you next week. Yeah, man, I had a horrible migraine yesterday. I don't know what I did, but doing all right now. Take it easy, Steve. We'll see you later. Oh, yeah, Rooster says, Jamie really wants the 120 over 318 I built for the D100, but like he says, not going cheap. The D100 is getting an 800 horse 440. Time to upgrade the truck. Get the 10-second truck rocking. Nice. Yeah. No, that engine looks cool. I have my fair share of decent small blocks, but I'd love to have it. John's here with us again, and he says, I've been bidding on salt trucks and state surplus auctions for a Magnum V10. I'm hoping I don't win into a dumb project. The V10 is empty. Damn it. I read ahead. Not empty. And now there's beer on my computer. I'm helpless. But it was all worth it. Big mouth Billy Bass agrees. Still got to put batteries in him. The Magnum V10 is interesting. I think we were talking about that a couple weeks ago. I've never I put a transmission behind one, and that is the only one I have ever driven, worked on. Yeah. I've proven that's fake news. But I'm gonna star it anyway. Hey, Bigfoots and Mopars. Damn it. Bigfoots and Mopars is here with us. You can tell the can's not empty because I get worse and worse as time goes on. Jabo says, are you misspeaking right now? I can't tell. You better just drink. Mr. Foot. I like that. Bigfoots and Mopars has a new video out on the 63 Plymouth build, so check it out. I have not done that yet. I need to. I know I've mentioned I'm super bad at keeping up with everyone's videos, and I apologize for that. But man, it's just tough, you know, when you're just making them all the time. It's hard. John says, stop living in the ocean, rotting out all the old Chryslers. Honestly, they're not as bad here as they are where Rooster lives. So, you know, and I'm not in the ocean. I'm 15 miles from it, maybe. Yeah, either way, 15 or so. 15, 20 miles. But I'm on a harbor, and it's still, you know, damp here and a little salty. So, yeah. I keep the good ones inside, if it's any consolation. Cave Dave is here with us and says, I'm still working on my 65 satellite. At the moment, I'm doing cut and buff. It sucks. Yeah, but it's worth it. It's going to be pretty. Mechanics is back with us again. Good evening, Mechanics. How you doing there? John says, if I get any Jeep, it's going to have the 4.0 straight 6. Yeah, I mean, that's the go-to, obviously. I've worked on Jeeps that have had those engines replaced twice, and they're still bad. So I'm not the biggest believer in the 4.0. I liked the idea of the 2.5. I remember now, I was trying to find a 2.5. I wanted to do that. Fuel-injected 2.5 4-cylinder. I mean, it's a little flat fender. It doesn't weigh anything. So the 4-cylinder is going to do plenty. It's going to do better on trails. It's going to do better on fuel. It's going to do fine on trails. And it would be cool. But yeah, it's just a 4.0 minus 2 holes. Rooster says, I have to go see Mopar Jeff soon. He's got a crank for me. Yep. And I bought the 74 Duster from him. Need to make room. I need the crank for the blown 426. Yes, we were talking about that last week. Big Ranch Tech says, Jamie, thanks for the shout out. Love the videos. I'm a newbie tuber. Thank you for your vast knowledge on Mopar. Helps this FOMOCO MG shovelhead junkie out. A nice Les Paul. Yeah, it's I almost bought, when I was a teenager, I almost bought a nice burst, you know, reproduction, traditional pro or whatever they call it. But they turned me down for Guitar Center credit card, so I bought that instead. And I love it. It's great. Korean Les Pauls, they use good woods. They just didn't use good electronic components. I actually like MG quite a bit myself. My MG of choice is the MGB GT, the 2-door liftback or whatever they called it. There are actually 2 of them out rotting at the beach. I just drove by them again. I should stop and ask about them. I probably won't. I've had 2. I've never driven one, but I've had 2, and I really like them. John says, Turbo Slant 6? I got no idea how much power those things can hold. I don't know either. The earlier engines have forged cranks. I mean, they're stout. They use the same main bearings as the 426 Hemi. Not a ton. I mean, we're talking 10 pounds is probably as much as we'd be pushing. I don't want to run an intercooler. I want to run essentially a totally stock engine and just see what we can do. And it's not ideal, but you know, low compression, poor flowing cylinder head. What fixes all that? Boost. Boost fixes all that. So yeah, I don't know how much power they can hold either. And it's funny, I was reading this article. I think I mentioned this last week. I was reading an article I've read several times. It's kind of a Turbo Slant 6 guide. And he says, well, you could just throw boost at your engine until it blows up, bit by bit, add boost until it blows up, and then get another engine and then back up to the last good setting. But there are better ways of doing it. And what I said was, no, I think that's the way you do it. So let's see where it blows up, and then we just go get another one because it's a slant 6 and they're $150. Maybe less. There's some thoughts about that too, because the slant 6 in the Duster is a way better engine. Excuse me, way better. It runs awesome. The Volare has a dead cylinder. I'm pretty sure it's cylinder head related or cam. Don't know. Haven't gotten into it. Don't really care. The other option is the 67 Barracuda. Now, the 67 Barracuda has the lightweight cast crank 80s slant 6 with a hydraulic cam. And that is one sweet running engine. I love the 80s engines. They're the best. They're just happy. They rev nice. They sound better. Earlier slant 6s, even when they run right, they tend to sound like broken tractors. That's been my experience. And the 80s engines always seem to be better. And I have another one of those waiting in the wings in pieces. So whatever car I end up doing, if it blows up, I've got an 80s one, which I could build for actual performance. Now, they are still a cast crank, but even with boost, let's say we triple the horsepower of the Slant 6 with boost. Okay, 300 horsepower. The cast crank probably still isn't going to be the weak point. So anyway, how much power can they hold? Enough? Maybe enough. Tom Hergert with Rocket Restorations, always a bad influence on me, is messaging me for sale ads. There's a 50 Power Wagon for $6,000. I wonder if it's got a bed. I feel like the only reason he would send it to me would be if it has a bed. No, it doesn't. Wow. $6,000 with no bed. Oh, cool. They took away request more pictures, and now it's you may also like. Great. Good. Friggin' face tubes. There's a blue convertible Dart. My friend Mikey was actually going to buy that car. He must have changed his mind. I think he went and looked at it and probably realized it's not as good as it looks. He kind of asked me what I thought of it, and I thought, well, it looks okay in the pictures, but the guy put a filter on all the pictures. So I'm thinking the paint's not so good. $6,500. Too much. Matthew says, we're at 55 minutes. We have 39 watching and 38 likes. Who is it? Who hasn't hit like? Hurry up. We won't look. Lucky for them, I don't have a list. There are actually 48 people in here now. So thank you everyone for being here. I'm trying to catch up with the comments and get to what everyone's saying. Probably only got about 20 to go till I reach that point. So that's not so bad. But yeah, please do hit like on the stream if you would. It helps me out by doing stuff, I guess. Oh, and I will say it's interesting. These live streams seem to be getting to about 500 views after. All of my live streams are still up. So if someone is really, really bored and they want to go back and listen to this, consume it as a podcast, which I think some people do, you can. They're all there going back to the beginning. But they seem to get about 500 views now. Whatever. I mean, that's not very many for me, but it's a lot more than they were getting at the beginning. So that's interesting. Dan Berg says, the Volare, not enough duct tape in the world to keep that body together. It's funny you should say that. So I've already made a video about turbo slant operation, and it's also an update on the 74 Duster. And again, my thought was, everyone seems to like that car better. I think I should do that one. But I can still change my mind on that. But it's funny you should mention duct tape holding the body together. You might see that next week. I assume that's a pro and not an against Magnum heads because they're awesome. And no, that $1,000 was not a Magnum head. That was No, stop. Stop. Stock Magnum heads are free. No, that was an aluminum Edelbrock 440 or big block head. Fully assembled, fully dressed aluminum head. They are $1,000 each. Non-Magnum head. Replacement Magnum heads, like the Engine Quest or whatever, I think they range from 300 bare casting to 500, 600 assembled. Something like that. IH was Nissan. Oh, shit. Oh, those are two. Yeah, it's a Nissan SD33 or whatever. Okay, so that Mitsubishi one. Hold on. Maybe they just look similar. I have to look this up. Would you? No, go away. You don't need my location. You already know. You stop that. I don't know what it is about this friggin' keyboard. Yeah, 69 Chrysler and Nissan created a joint venture to market Nissan diesel engines. Yeah, so that's my mistake. So the Mitsubishi was a totally different thing. Okay. Yeah, and that is the... Yeah. Yes. It's the SD series, but I think I'm pretty sure it's the SD33 that they used. Yeah, it's SD33. Yep. And apparently they badged it as the Chrysler Nissan CN633. But yeah, it's the SD33. So Chrysler used it, not extensively, but they helped bring it to America, and it ended up in the Scout, among other things. So the Mitsubishi is something totally different. And yeah, that was it was around the same kind of time. Mid-70s. Yeah, because that's the engine that was in the mid-70s D100. They don't look that similar. No, I'm crazy. The first picture, it looked like the Nissan engine, but that's totally not. Yeah, okay, well, that's fine. I got confused and wrong, so I guess that just means we have to drink. Bob says, I just noticed you cracked 8,000 subs. When did that happen? After the Fury video. So I think it happened on Monday or Tuesday. It happened this week. Yeah, we're getting really close to 10. You guys ready to see me without a beard? My wife reminded me today that she's been telling me to shave it off for years. She wants to know what my chin looks like, and I kind of do too, frankly. So yeah, currently sitting at 8,179 subscribers. And last time we were together here, I think it was 79 something. So yeah, it's all happening, baby. Pretty cool. It's it's not a lot by some standards, but by some other standards, it's way more than I ever expected. So I am pleased, and I thank you all for being among those. Demon video has 1,400 views now. I check this crap constantly. Constantly, I'm in this app. I respond to every comment. Oh, Barry Russell commenting on the Fury video, my brother's Fury video from last week. Oh, come on. Barry Russell says, I'd drive it every day. He does sometimes. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Okay. So I've told you guys, a guy named Joe, Average Joe Builds, he bought my 72 Swinger. I think that was in January, and he has gone ham on that thing. He did all the metal. He found some problems that I knew about and some problems that really surprised me, which was I don't feel good about it. But anyway, it is what it is. He's done amazing things with that car. He has actually gotten to drive it, which is more than I can say. I bought it back, and I just didn't even get to touch it, really. So it's back on the road. But anyway, he's on here, and he says, I do not need this kind of motivation. Keep the dart and make it cool. Oh, and then he says, oh, that's what my idler was supposed to look like. All right. Good stuff. Anyway, Fury video is still getting a ton of views. Tyler says, I sent you that. Well, now I'm going to go look. And then I'm going to get even further behind on comments. And then we're going to have to drink. Where did you send it? Oh, it's in message request. Got it. That's... Oh, okay. One's a dart. SD33 garage. Okay. Dude. Dude. Oh, I've seen the Duster. Yes, I've seen that. I have seen that. He bought it non-running, I think. That one had it in there when he bought it, if I'm remembering correctly. That must have been pretty recently, actually. And now I can't remember where I saw it, if it was on Reels or maybe he's on Instagram. I don't think he's on the A-Buddies group because I feel like everyone would hate him. I think he's a hero and a genius. And like most geniuses, underappreciated in his time. It's awesome. Banana says, I rode in a 69 Charger 440. It was pretty terrifying. Original triple black paint, rebuilt 4-speed. My life flashed before my eyes yet again. So I've told the story of the 68 Charger RT 440 4-speed that got me into Mopars and cars in general. It had a 509 cam and a sound to match. It had flamethrowers in the tailpipes. It was a cool car. Original B5 blue. It was supposed to be white top striped elite, but it didn't have the top on it, or a stripe. It's actually black now, but it was blue. Anyway, that kind of got me into it. I learned a lot from that car. I learned what a cam was. He said it sounds that way because of the cam. I said, so this car has a cam? And he says, well, every car has a cam. This one just has a spicy cam. And that sort of thing. And I remember riding in it. And that was the kind of car that set you back in the seat. The driver's seat is bent. So that's cool. But yeah, I actually own the engine that made those sounds. It blew up with like 150 shot of nitrous, but it took a decade. So I own that. I hope to build that for something someday. But when that engine was still together in that car many years ago, the fastest I have ever been in a car is 130 miles an hour. And it was in that Charger on a back road at night. And that's when I learned what the Charger body does. And what it does is it lifts the ass end off the ground. That's why the Daytona and the 500 exist. So I don't know if my life flashed before my eyes, but it was a terrifying experience. Michael Adamo is here with us and says, Happy Easter. I'm late. And he also says, how's the 360 running? It sounds really good. I shut it off at the end of that video, and I have not been back out to look at the car since. That was Saturday at about 4:30 p.m., and I had to be at a show at 5. Naturally, I got there at 5:15 because I'm always right on time as usual. But yeah, and then obviously Easter today, we're doing family stuff. So haven't gotten to touch it. I'm working at Rocket the next 2 days, so I'm not going to get to touch it. So Wednesday, hopefully I can fiddle with it. I haven't checked the timing yet. I haven't retuned the idles. I ran that carb briefly on the 340. It should be really close, but I got to retune it and just kind of try and figure out what's what. Finish up the couple things with the transmission. I'm really hoping for dry weather. I'm not banking on dry weather, but I'm hoping for dry weather. No, I don't want more detail. I'll be dipped. Monday, 90% chance of rain. Tuesday, 90% chance of rain. Thursday, 50% chance of rain. Wednesday, partly sunny. So I guess I'll be making demon video on Wednesday. Yeah, so I'll be doing some shakedowns and a little bit of tuning. I do have actual work to do, unfortunately, but I will know more then, and you will know soon after I know. But it sounds pretty damn good to me. There was some smoke coming out of the left pipe. I'm going to try and break the engine in. I haven't cut the rings in. I'm going to go drive and see if I can, see what I can do. And then if it's still smoking, I'm going to pull the plugs and take a look. Could be intake gasket. Could be, there's all kinds of possibilities. I just don't know yet. But it's sure running pretty good. So I don't think it's anything super major. I think it's just breaking in. So we'll see. Rich Jordan says, in 1980, when I was searching for my first car, I had to pass on a TA at $2,000. Settled for the 318 for $650, counting transmission rebuild. Yeah, $2,000. That was a lot of money back then. Man. Dan says, dang it, beer crisper is not cooling off rogue dead guys fast enough. That's the only what are you drinking input we've gotten so far. Holy crap, you people commented a lot. You should stop doing that for a bit. John says, I've never worked with the V10 and want to. I think shoving LA accessories on it and making it look like an old LA would be funny. They're pretty much the same as any LA-based thing, though. No, they're not. Unfortunately, they're not. So the Magnum V10, it uses the 360 piston, 360 bore size. I think it's the same stroke. Unfortunately, the block design is not the same. Nothing is the same with the block. They have an oil pump on the front of the crank for one thing. The block design is actually a deep skirt like a big block Mopar, which is very interesting. But I don't think the cylinder head is even remotely similar looking. Well, remotely, yes. But I don't think the bolt positions are the same. They're similar. I know the block is very, very different. Huh. It's actually not as different as I thought. You see it with all the stuff off it. Well, now I'm curious. Yeah, it actually looks more like it than I thought it did. Very interesting. Did you know that the V10 uses the same bell housing pattern as the Cummins? As is on the Cummins adapter. So those two engines only. Dodge V10 with a supercharger? Just kidding. That's a Ford engine. It says Dodge 10, but that's Ford. Huh. Exhaust ports are different. Huh. From my reading, I thought they were much, much different. But maybe they're more similar than I thought. I might have to look into that. That's really interesting. I thought they were way different. I know the block's a different design. Cave Dave says, it was me, but I don't know why. Stacy says, oh, no, I still haven't done that. Did you ever check out Dylan McCool's newest video with the one owner 68 Charger barn find? Turns out it was a two-parter with Sally's Speed Shop. Interesting. I'll have to check that out. There's a lot of back and forth going. I don't know what. Oh, who hasn't hit like? Nice. Very cool. Jay Gerlach says, I'm old. Last Jeep I owned had a 258 in it and right-hand drive. Nice. That's cool. The 258's great. The 4-liter, shorter stroke or whatever, but fuel injection, that's what makes it great. But the 258's awesome. I mean, there are many of those still out there. Dan says, what do you think about putting a Slant 6 in my car? The Tercel, bit of a tight fit. John says, why not blow up a Slant 6 with nitrous to find the limit first? Well, first off, I don't see how that translates to boost levels directly. And second off, I have a nitrous plate, a gas solenoid, I think a line and bottle mounts, but I don't have a nitrous solenoid. I don't have jets or a bottle, I'll do nitrous on something someday. I've never played with it myself, but boost. I have a lot more interest in boost than I do in nitrous, which is funny because nitrous is so much easier. Dan says there was one of those MG hatchbacks down here, has a Buick GN setup in it, 9-inch rear end, really quick. That's cool. Powertrain swaps are common because the B series English engine is a boat anchor, absolute boat anchor. Yeah. Rooster says, I told you to put the turbo on the Duster. It's a better fit. I think so. Plus, you could street it. Well, yeah, except for the no turbo thing. Oh, Big Ranch Tech took off as well. Good night from Florida. Awesome feed, man. Rock on. See you on the next live. Thank you very much, my friend. Hope you have a good week, and we'll see you later. Rooster also says, I hit the like. What did I win? Well, not a Duster. Cave Dave says, I'm desperately looking for the unattainable rocker panel molding for a 65 Plymouth Satellite. Should I keep looking or weld up the holes? Have you... Okay, well, here's a good one. Yeah, Brad Harms is a good one. I would also recommend Tom, Rocket Restorations. You contact Tom. I don't know that I don't think he has them, but he may know where to look. He actually just sold a 65 Belvedere. As far as keep looking, roll up the holes, keep looking. My sister says, Teddy has still been watching the stream from a few weeks ago on repeat. He's not interested in any others, just that one. Okay. Busted Radial Garage is here with us and says, hello, Dead Dodge Garage and chat. Hello, Busted Radial Garage. How are you doing? John says, best hope you have a chin. I have one. The question is, do I only have one? Because I don't know. I've put on 35 pounds since I was last clean shaven, I think. So we'll see. Jake Airlax says, I want a Soxon Martin Colt or Omni. That sounds fun. A GLHS would be neat. K-cars do not seem to exist here. Colt, of course, being something different. But yeah, it's weird. Jorge Hernandez says, once my shirt arrives, the... why can I not remember what that's called? More bad than car. More bad than car shirt. It's going to increase subs by 20%. I'm wearing it to test into near Orlando, Florida this week. And do I have to drink twice for that one? Wow. 51 of you out there now. Welcome. Thanks for dropping in. I think that might be more than we've ever had. So that's awesome. If you do me a favor and punch the like button on the stream, that'd be super helpful. And we got about 15 minutes left. I've got some more comments to get through, but if you want to drop me a line with any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Any comments on today's video? I have yet to have anyone tell me that I'm an idiot for taking the 340 out. I'm an idiot for painting the engine red instead of the correct orange. That I'm ruining the car. Yeah, no, none of that yet. So I'm guessing that comes later. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. Anyway, I appreciate that, Jorge. I can only assume every single person that test and tune will subscribe. So I really appreciate you putting in the work. And Tom is here. Dropped in the comments to say Brad is a good guy with a ton of cars. And as I suspected, Tom says he might have a friend with 65 satellite parts, so he can ask. You can reach Tom at rocketresto.com. So feel free to reach out there. Rooster sent me his contact info. Okay. So you, if you want to get a hold of Brad, Dave, you can email me, jamienoise@gmail.com, and I'll send you his number. John says, 130 in a B-body? No, thanks. That's where I'm at. Same guy had a 273 Cornet. Actually, the 273 that went in my brother's Duster and that we still have, funny enough. 68 Cornet with a 273. And he put a 440 in it. And that's it. He changed nothing. And I remember being on the highway in that car, and a BMW wanted to mess around, and he floored it. And the BMW got us on gearing. But dude, up about just 90, that car started doing this. It was terrifying. Terrifying. Having said that, I've been 95 and my 66 Charger, I hit 95, and my wife says she hit 100 in that car, which is funny. And in my red car, I've done at least 90, and it cruises very well. But I'm not passing 100 with that. Yes. Tom says to Rooster, I can't make it to Minnesota, unfortunately, but he's still going, and he'd love to stop by your place after the show. Yes, I was hoping I would be able to get over there for Mopars in the Park, but I can't because it is June 2nd through the 4th, and my grandma's 90th birthday is June 3rd, the Saturday, and I'm already set up to go there. I'm not going to miss that. I just have to do that, and we kind of have to have our priorities, and that's mine. So yeah, I won't be able to go, which is a bummer. I wasn't 100% in on it anyway, but I wanted to. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But I do hope to get there eventually. I do really want to do more national events and that sort of thing this year. Get to the big places where the people are. That would be cool. And I definitely want to do some racing. So that's all in my plan. But Mopars in the Park is not. Smitch says, Magnum heads are a win. It's best, but not required to run a mag-specific piston like a KB232. I've run the gauntlet on this one. Interesting. I don't know on special pistons. I assume that's just to cooperate with the quench area. The chambers are slightly different, so I'm guessing it just matches that chamber better. But I don't know about that one. It's funny, my experience with Magnums is basically all stock, like almost all stock. Oh, and 10 minutes ago, Tom said, you're so far behind in the comments. Yeah. Rooster's hoping to be at Mopars in the Park with the Coronet. Going on Saturday. Fine, we'll just chat then. Yeah. Ooh, that would be awesome. Okay. Yeah, let's set that up. So we could totally do that. So Tom and Rooster at Rooster's place, and then we hook up on here for a live. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back by then. Yeah, that would be cool. That almost solves the problem. It would almost be like I was there. John says, I'm bidding on the solid truck so I can get the entire drivetrain. They're pretty damn close to LA. Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to mess with V10 stuff eventually. It's on my list. And now that I've just always assumed, because I've never really got into the nuts and bolts of one. And I know the bell pattern is different, which means, it's not going to hook to a 4-speed. So it's not going to bolt right into an A body or a B body. So that pretty much rules it out for me. But people have done it. I'm going to have to look at them closer. I'd like to play with one eventually. And there was a response here, but that was Mopars in the Park that Tom's talking about. Dan says, there was a truck V10 and an E-body cover car. It had a modified upper plenum and aftermarket programming. Somebody should remember more about it. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that one. Of course, I've seen Viper swaps, which is cool. But I haven't seen that one. Alt Praises here and says, hey, Jamie, I have an extra chin if you need one. No, I'm afraid I'm going to have an extra chin, and I'm going to need someone else to take that. Scott Prado, #1 troll from the very beginning, is here with us and says, aloha again. Enjoying beach life. Yeah, I heard they have dark beer there, so you're happy or something. Please keep me updated on the weather. It sucks, and I'm damp. Huh, that's interesting. The sky, I don't know if this will actually show at all. Yeah, you can kind of tell it's pink. It's doing weird stuff out there. Huh. It's been pouring rain all day, as usual. But, we were supposed to do Easter egg hunt stuff for the childrens, and that got rained out, so that was a little unfortunate. Awesome. Crash will be out there in the Minnesota. So it sounds like maybe he'll meet Tom, and Rooster will be there Saturday. But yeah, I will not be there this year. I had every intention of being there. I wanted to. I may get over that direction for other fun things. You can see the sky's pink right there. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm not going to make that show, unfortunately. JMR says, you're not an idiot. You're just dazed and confused. Yeah, sounds about right. Noah's a couple comments came in at once. I'm almost to the end, guys, so feel free to if you have any further input. I did start late. I'll probably check out at 8 anyway. It's Sunday evening and Mrs. Jamie and I have important TV watching to do. So I had brisket and ham for dinner, but I'll probably need dessert. I think it'll probably be about root beer float time by the time the stream ends. Or as my brother likes to say, my big drink. Which is a line from Death Proof if you've never seen it. I'm working my way up to my big drink. Virgin Pina Colada. Anyway, that's funny. Noah says, got to head out a bit early. See you next week. See you next week, Noah. Thanks for being here as usual. And Scott says, oops, guest's back. Have to turn the volume off. Wow, you actually had the volume on for a minute. That is impressive. Oh, okay. Were you okay? I just got a message from Mitchell. He owns that Barracuda. I imagine a lot of you folks noticed it up on the lift in the Demon video. I know he commented somewhere. His handle's Smitch now. All right. Well, it was a while back. Anyway, but yeah, that's Mitchell. I will be doing a video on that car very soon. I really need to get 2 second-gen Rams out of here, and a Dakota engine really needs to be finished. That's the 4.7 that was blown up in that video. I got bearings for it. I just have to get it back on the lift, get it done, and get it out of my life. And then, oh boy, at least 2 of those things need to happen before I can really dive in on his car. But that's going to be a good one. It is an amazing build. It's cool. It's really cool. Banana says, speaking of chargers, my friend just got a 70 RT4 speed. I went out to help him with it and unearthed the worst Bondo repair ever. The rest was cancerous. He's not sure if he should keep it or not. Well, he could sell it to me, but it better be cheap. Just kidding. I can't afford it. Well, has he seen my video on charger rust? He should have watched it before he bought that car. Very common issue, unfortunately. The thing is, if you want a charger and you're not willing to spend 100,000 plus, you're going to deal with rust at some point. You've seen my car. My car has rust. It's just hiding it well. That's all. There are metal patches. There's Bondo. There's, that is the name of the game. Now, the worst Bondo repair ever, that's unfortunate. And it's really unfortunate if he paid top dollar thinking it was a good car. There's pretty much no such thing. So it's up to him. I mean, again, rust is just kind of the name of the game. It's the cost of entry for a charger. That's what it is. So it's his call. And again, Tom, as usual, bad influence. Enabler number 1 sent me an ad for a Wagoneer. We're already working on another Wagoneer of that vintage. My wife really wants a Wagoneer. She has for years. And actually, where we got the 74 Duster, she went with me. And what did he have sitting there but a nice later Grand Wagoneer that he wants to sell? Damn it. Anyway, on it goes. Yeah, his call. I mean, deal with the rust or buy another one that has rust too. Either way. Ross says, I think that was a Mopar Action cover car. Had to be the late 90s. Ava's here with us. Hello, Ava. What are you up to? Fun stuff? What you doing? What you doing? I showed them my squishies. And I showed them the dino. But I showed him this and his carrot friend that he eats. Oh, I didn't show him the egg. Yeah, show him the egg. The camera's up there. Oop, right? There you go. Happy little Easter egg. They're filled with Orbeez. They're amazing.
I had 2 of the bunnies and
I got the duplicates.
a bunch of the carrots. I didn't have a duplicate of this. I just had a pink one too.
I'm going to skip over a few things. No, I'm not. I changed my mind. Okay, here we go. I got to get through these comments. We got to get off in here for TV time.
Okay.
John says, modern stuff is so tame at stupid speed. 130 in a 6.7 power stroke. Yeah, dude, there's people in those lifted trucks just flying by you all the time. It's amazing. And it's like driving a Cadillac. It's crazy. My sister says, Scott's been trolling me since before YouTube. Yes, he has. In fact, Scott is credited with the name Dead Dodge Garage. He called my house that like a decade ago, and it was intended as an insult. But what do we do with things like that? We take them back. Dan says, that sounds about right. I think it had 2 swap cars on the cover. Cave Dave wants to know, I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. When does rain stop an Easter egg hunt? Well, it was really coming down and blowing sideways out of the beach. So, yeah. We just did an inside Easter egg party.
Yeah, there was a big bucket and then there was a bunch of Easter eggs.
Oh, yeah.
We started doing
Yep.
that.
It was just a grab box. That kind of setup. My sister wants ham root beer floats. Well, actualize. Manifest ham and a root beer float. Now, Rooster wants a root beer float. Ross, I actually know R.L. Burnside. That is a good one. Absolutely. Oh, and Bob ducked out. You have a good one, Bob. Crash says cream soda float. That's a good one. I prefer orange soda float, though. I think that's up there. John says 4-7, send it to hell. Yeah, wish I could. If you watch that video, you'll find out why I'm stuck with the damn thing. John says, Rust, just live in the South. Okay, and then back to on that Charger. Banana says he paid almost $50K for that 70 Charger. Well, again, I mean, I paid a little more than that for mine, and rust bubbles, you know. And I knew as soon as I looked at it, the guy was like, oh, no, you know, it's all good, and it's just a repaint, and it was repainted 20 years ago, and it's solid. And I'm like, okay, but what's this? What's this? There's Bondo here, there's rust bubbles. All the pictures you sent me were carefully framed so I couldn't see that, and you didn't mention it, even though you had it up on a lift, and you could definitely see it. That's interesting. It's fine. I only drove 6 hours to get here. But anyway, again, like, honestly, I wonder how bad it is. If it's quarters, trunk floor, window filler, pillars, tail panel, like that's all normal stuff. And if it's got solid frame rails, rockers, decent floors, that's not that far from normal. I mean, it really isn't. And an RT, like a non-running RT project, sold through Rocket for $35. And it wasn't a 4-speed. You all right? Yes, dear. I need you to say that slightly louder. Sure. Yikes. And ouch. And what Ava has to say about that is...
Yeah.
Nice. Good night, Dan. Have a good week. Talk to you later. Banana says, I recommended that video and he watched it. He just didn't take it apart before handing over the cash. Yeah. Magnet. And looking under it and just really just poking at things and scrutinizing. And yeah. It was hiding it scarily well. Yeah, and I could see that. I mean, it happens. Are you reading that?
I only read the car was hiding it.
That's a funky word. That's scarily. Scarily.
Scarily.
You know that word?
No.
Let's sound it out. Well, the car was hiding it scarily well. Nice reading. We're getting there. Dan says, to Jorge, try to find a quality engineered component spacer adapter for LA transmission to Gen 1 Hemi Poly. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I know they exist. They do exist. It's just, again, I don't know the details on that one. Ross says, damn, didn't stump him. Which, on RL Burnside, yeah. My sister says manifesting takes more work than just going to the store. However, I am terribly lazy. and it's gross out, so I'll just whine about it instead.
Lazy, 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 lazy.
That's your Aunt Caitlin.
Lazy.
Wanna say hi to her? You can, oh, okay. All right. You can say hi to your cousins too.
Hi.
Nice.
Bye.
Nice. Yeah, don't be stealing my squishies. Those are my squishies. You got yours.
I'm squishing them now.
That's okay. They're filled with Orbeez. They're really fun to squish.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so cool.
All right. I'm going to sort through the comments that are here and get the heck out of here.
No,
Rooster. Never. Rooster, I haven't edited it yet, and she complains all the time. She's like, Dad, when are you going to put up my videos? It's been a long week. It's a full-time job.
When you put in them up, it's
Soon. Let me finish my live stream now.
No.
You said I could never stop. YT viewer, who's been here off and on for just about since the beginning, I think, says, odd question. Went to put the Plymouth letters on my Valiant's hood, only to realize there's a ton of extra room between the backing nuts and the hood. Do I need to put something between them? There shouldn't be. It should bottom out. Do you have the right nuts? There shouldn't be. Dan says, then find an LA 518 and a PATC standalone kit. Yeah, that's the way to go. I do think he's got a stick now, and if I were him, I'd be trying to keep a stick, so maybe a 5-speed or something, but I'm sure it would be a special flywheel and a spacer. There would be some science there, I'm sure. Doug wants to know, when's the last time you were absolutely clean shaven? I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it was 10 years ago. 10 to 11 years, let's say. I was in my early 20s last time I saw my chin, and I was a good bit skinnier then. Rooster says, I paid $875 for my 70 Charger, but that was 1980. Yes, we know they were cheaper. They're not anymore. It sucks. Dan says, I kind of like it here on the desert side of Washington. At least I can go for a drive without getting wet. Well, you take the bad with the good. Greg Lloyd dropped in and said, hello. Hello, Greg. A little late. The show is technically over. Banana says, the inside of the quarters are like the plague and the trunk is on its last layers. Well, then it's not hiding it that well. But I'm guessing that's what you mean by you didn't take it apart. Jorge Hernandez says UTG has a few good videos about buying old Mopars. Yes, absolutely. And I did a rust guide myself, but Chris Birdsong is really the expert on Mopar and especially Charger rust. He really is, and he has videos on it too. So if you have any questions about that, Chris Birdsong is the #1 spot. But again, just be aware, any 68, 69, 70 Charger, it's probably going to be a rust bucket, and people need to understand that. It's just part of the territory. I still paid that money for mine, knowing eventually I will have to do the rust repair, but I will either do it myself or make my brother help, or actually my very good friend Mike is a brilliant metal worker, and he just makes patches by hand, which I've done a little bit, but not as effectively. So I'd handle it, is what I'm saying. Then I just find someone to spray it. Banana says, I feel bad. He's always wanted that year in particular. I took it as an opportunity to show him your channel. Well, I appreciate that, but yeah, that sucks. That sucks. But again, it's what it is. It's what they do. It's what they do. They rust for fun. And yeah, if it's a real RT 4-speed at 50, if it's a complete like running car and good parts there, even if it's got rust to repair, it's an RT. Like fixed, it's worth $150 if it's restored nicely and goes to Mecum. So just saying, like, God, it could be worse. It could be worse, but it ain't gonna be easy or cheap. And he says his dad had that car when he was little, but his dad had to sell it to pay the rent. So it's just a sad situation. Yeah, it is. It is again. I mean, if it's safe to drive, he should get it or if it's close to that, if it doesn't have frame rot, if it's like most of an okay car, he should just drive it, enjoy it for a while and decide if he wants to take on that menace of a project. Drive it, enjoy it, revel in the memories. But again, frame rail solid, like floors and rockers okay, mechanically sound. I would drive it and enjoy it. And I wouldn't feel good at 50, but again, if it is a true RT and it's like together, it could be worse. Like he could probably still get that just reselling it, even knowing and saying this is what it is. If it's a complete running and moving RT 4-speed, yeah, he's doing okay. JMR says, you're great, dude. Have a great family night. I will. I'm just about to get out of here. So thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. And Jorge says, Jamie, the comments aren't visible on the tube after it has been posted. No, they aren't. I was trying to find book recommended last week and I had to watch the stream again. Unfortunately, no. The comments don't. I don't know why. I don't know why they don't do that. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I swear other services do that, but Facebook Lives, they are not there, and it's a bummer. So I apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused. Aside from the rest, it actually runs really nicely. Man, again, that sucks, but I don't think he's doing as bad as he might think or as you might think. If it's a horrible rust bucket, unsafe, returning to Mother Earth, that sucks. But it could be worse. Go enjoy the Muppets. They rock. Good night and happy Easter to you, Rich. Thank you very much. And I'll see you, Rooster. Yep, we'll talk this week. I'll be in my shop Wednesday through Friday. Monday, Tuesday, we'll be getting Tom ready to leave on some crazy grand adventure. So Wednesday through Friday, I'll be here. So feel free to give me a ring. Banana says it's got a beefy Edelbrock on it, has good AC. Frame rails are in good shape. Just quarters and rockers. Yeah, that sucks. You can send me pictures if you want. So I can revel in the misery, but get it driving and enjoy it. Good night to you, Jorge. Thank you everybody for being here on your Easter Sunday. I really appreciate it. I look forward to this all week, every week. I also really appreciate my wife for leaving the party and driving home so I could be here to do this. And I'm going to go show that appreciation by hanging out and watching TV, and maybe I'll make her a root beer float. So thank you very much for your comments and hanging out with me. Have a good week. We'll see you later. See you, Stacy. Still need to get some stickers and a shirt up here. Shit. I need a manager. I'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. My wife is a rock star.